Namaste.
Namaste.
The episode that Nityanand Misra did to critique Devdutt Pattanaik got a huge response, a lot of excitement. And some people raise some issues I think we should address. So the purpose today is to give a response to some critics. So one of the issues raised was, why aren't you debating Devdutt Pattanaik?
I'm open to a debate,
Okay.
and we live in the same city.
Yeah.
I invite Devdutt Pattanaik to a place of his choice,
Right.
a platform of his choice. It
Right.
could be TV, it could be a live event, it could be even a written debate. So he's more than welcome. I invite him for a debate on his book, The Maya Gita. I'm happy for anybody to moderate. You could moderate it if you want to, if you're in Bombay at that time.
I have written to him. I have put out messages in social media inviting him to a discussion. In fact, before our episode, I invited him. He was not interested. After our episode, I put out that, okay, Devdutt Pattanaik, you can come and give a response.
Yeah.
And he hasn't responded.
His response, so in one of his tweets, what he said, tweets or an article, probably it was a tweet, he said, the duo in the video is driven by jealousy.
But that's not a response,
That's not.
because he's given point by point issues, so he should give a defense on substance.
Right.
And rather than whether it's jealousy. Okay, let's say it's driven by jealousy, but the criticism is valid. So what's the answer to that?
Yeah. So once again, Shri Devdutt Pattanaik, I invite you for a debate at a platform of your choice. We are both in the same city, not very far from each other. So we can have this debate on either the Maya Gita or any of your books, or you can talk about my work also. I have books. We can talk about my books and or any other topic, and I'll be happy to speak with you, to debate with you.
So if somebody did a analysis of one of your books, you would say, okay, let's have a discussion.
So I would do two things. One is, if somebody pointed out errors in my book, I would go through the errors. If I disagree with them, I say, look, I disagree with you and why. If I agree with the error, I'll say, all right, I acknowledge it's an error.
Let's fix it.
I will get it corrected in the next edition when it comes out.
Yes.
That's all I need to do.
Yes.
So if somebody says, okay, you made a mistake, I say, yes, that's a mistake. I'm sorry for it. And in the prefaces to my books, I always say, if you point out if you notice an error in my book, point out to me. I'll get it fixed in the next edition. That's it.
In my book, Being Different, we had, 50, 60, 70 errors, and we put them up on the website so that when people are pointing out errors, they should first check to see if it's already on the list. And I told my publishers every print run, because it was selling very well and every so often they would have to do a new print run, just keep correcting these errors. And so I was grateful to the people who did it. There's nothing to get personal about it. I think he's just built himself a huge, larger than life, inflated, sort of with a lot of air inside kind of image, and so he's worried more on that score. A true scholar should say, okay, let's sit down and debate the issues and sort it out. The next criticism people have is, our tradition is so open. It's open to many interpretations. I have my interpretation, he has his interpretation, you have your interpretation, everybody is entitled to an interpretation. What's wrong with that? Why can't he just interpret it the way he feels like?
So yes, if our tradition is open, it's also open. I'm also open to have an opinion on somebody's interpretation.
So it's open for you to give a response.
Yeah, sure. So if Devdutt Pattanaik interpreted the Gita, I can interpret Devdutt Pattanaik's works.
Yes.
Is his work not open for interpretation?
Right. And also, can we say that there are some standards for interpretation?
Sure.
That we have Vedas as a framework. The Vedic structure is a framework. So the Itihas and later works are interpreted in accordance with that foundation, and not in accordance with Freud as a foundation. So when you remove the Vedic foundation as the interpretive basis and reinsert some postmodernist or feminist or Freudian foundation, we consider that to be unfair to the tradition. And it is worth pointing out that while he is entitled to his interpretation is not in accordance with the Vedic. It is not a Vedic interpretation of Gita. It is a Freudian, feminist, postmodern interpretation of Gita. That ought to be brought.
I agree with what you say. Another point I would like to add is that when you interpret a work, at least you should have some familiarity, or rather more than that, an advanced understanding of the language the work is written in. So if you're doing an original interpretation of the Gita, you need to have some familiarity with Sanskrit. If you're writing based on translations of the Gita, that's all right. You're doing a survey then. You're doing a survey for the translations, but if you're interpreting the Gita and you don't have a knowledge of Sanskrit, then it is an issue. Your interpretation can have a lot of mistakes. So an interpretation could be a bad interpretation, a good interpretation, an erroneous interpretation, a great interpretation, and it's my right to comment on what is a good interpretation and what is not a good interpretation.
The third objection a lot of people had was they said, he's doing us good because a lot of us don't know anything and he's making the Hindu text popular. So he's bringing popularity. It's now sold in airports and most people had no idea such a thing exists. So he's brought kind of fame and spotlight on texts which were obscure. So he's actually done us a favor.
Well, if that's the argument, then I would say that anybody who's popular should be taken as correct. So you can mislead. Is misleading good or is misleading bad? You can mislead and you can say, well, but I'm making people aware. But you're making people aware in the wrong way.
So popularity is being confused as service.
Sure.
It means that the more popular person has more power and more rights to interpret things because their popularity will take it further, and somebody who has actually more authentic knowledge may not be so popular and he can be discarded and he can just atrophy. So I think this is a very serious problem to say popularity and fame and prestige become the criteria for truth.
Look, there are two things. One is simplifying, one is dumbing down.
Yes.
I'm for simplification. You simplify something, take it to a large audience, that is good. But if you dumb it down, if you make your own interpretations, and then if you're interpreting themes there and saying what is not there in the original, then it's actually a disservice.
And even worse than dumbing down is misinforming, coming up with new intentions, motives which are not there in the text.
There's a famous proverb in Hindi which is Neem Hakim Khatre Jaan, which is like half knowledge is very dangerous. So Neem Hakim is somebody. A Hakim is a Unani medicine practitioner.
Right.
And Neem Hakim who just knows that neem is a medicine for everything. So he is a threat to your life.
Yeah.
So if half knowledge and half truths are dangerous sometimes.
So people who are ignorant and know that they're ignorant, at least they are open to maybe one day open to getting to a proper source and learning. Somebody who's read something wrong and is really full of himself, and he's now become like an expert because he read Devdutt Pattanaik or watched some video and he thinks he now knows it, is actually worse off because now you have to fight a huge battle, an emotional battle to talk him out of it. And a lot of the critics were of that kind. So we want to continue this conversation. In all my discussions, I welcome opposing points of view from qualified people, from important people, people of substance, people of stature. If you want to approach me because I've said something about you, named you, please do so and we can have another conversation on my channel.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here and also hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified. To donate, please click this button.